Hi, Tracy Hugelmeyer here from VintagepreneurUniversity.com, where I help vintage sellers start, grow, and scale their business on Etsy. I also own my own vintage business, Rustic Eye, that I've had on Etsy since 2013. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to critique your listing. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use one of my older actual listings so I can show you the things that I'm changing and updating and hopefully give you some ideas how you can do the same with your own listings. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here I am at my vintage sign letters. This is one of my older listings. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to update on here to make it the best that it can be. Okay, so I'm constantly updating my techniques and my processes based on what's working. So I look at what's working and then I do more of that. That's like the bottom line of my strategy all around. So even though I sold listings the way that it is, I still know that I can make improvements, and that's what I'm going to do today and show you and walk you through exactly what I'm doing as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click on edit to edit this listing. And the first thing that I noticed about this is the titles are following the way that I used to do titles. So, a few months back, we learned from Etsy that these long keyword stuffed titles were not the best way to go. So usually what I do with my titles, and again, this is one of my older versions of my titles, so I'm going to update it. But usually what I do is use 2 to 3 long tail keywords. That basically means that I'm using phrases that include my keywords that will help somebody find my items. So remember, our titles use Etsy uses the keywords in our titles and our tags in order to find our items, as do outside search engines like Google. So the first thing I'm going to do is just update this title to look more in line with the style of my new titles, and also to include those 2 to 3 long tail keyword phrases. So right now I have vintage sign letters / vintage unitype / vintage alphabet /. You can see I'm repeating vintage quite a few times, which isn't really necessary. And I'm using those slashes right after my shorter keyword phrases there. So I'm still going to keep most or all of these keywords. I'm just going to do it in a way that's more pleasing to the eye, and also will catch those long keyword phrases should anybody search for them. So let me show you an example of what I mean. So here I'm going to say vintage black and white. I'll just use the ampersand white unitype. I'm going to say unitype sign letters. Okay, that kind of includes this vintage unitype. You can see vintage unitype is there, so I can take out vintage unitype. It also includes this black and white, so I'm going to take that out. And it includes, let's see, vintage here. I'm going to take that out just so I don't repeat it. And I'm left with alphabet, metal sign letters, church bulletin board, and numbers. I already used letters, so I'm going to take that out. And I spelled letters wrong there, so I'm going to fix that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just put a dash, because that's my newer form of titles. Now, the dash isn't important. You can use whatever separator that you want. What type of separator that you used, I believe, used to be more important because we were trying to fit as many keywords in there as possible. But now it doesn't make so much of a difference, because usually we're not using up all the characters in our titles, although you certainly can. You can put whatever information in there that is relevant and will help your item get found. You just want to do it in a way that is pleasing to the eye. So I'm just going to go ahead and incorporate the rest of my keywords into one more long tail keyword phrase. So I will say metal, church, bulletin, alphabet, and numbers. And that pretty much includes all my additional keywords. I already used sign, so we're pretty good. Okay, so you can see that only takes up some of my characters here. I have 52 left. So the other thing that I like to include here is a keyword phrase for who it's for or who can use it, how it can be used. And you could play around with different phrases for different listings if you have listings that are, similar. But the one thing to note here is you don't want to go in and change all your listings at once. You want to be very careful about that because, and especially if you have things that are working. So these, for example, are already selling. So I don't want to make huge changes to them. I just want to make little tweaks. And again, I don't want to change everything at once. I just want to, see if there's anything, the little things that I can do to optimize it. So I didn't have any phrase in here about who this was for. I'm going to go ahead and use farm letters for farmhouse decor. Okay, and that is just if somebody's searching for letters to decorate their farmhouse decor. I'm hoping that this is one thing that could pop up in their search and give them an idea. So that's kind of my motivation for tying in the farmhouse decor keyword here, okay? And then you can also see that some of the pictures that I include show a kind of farmhouse vibe to them too, like this welcome picture, for example. It's got the wood crate there, so somebody could possibly see how that could work for them in their farmhouse decor. Now, the other phrase that I considered here is like letters for your farmhouse wedding or something like that. If I was going to do that, I might want pictures that show that label something at a wedding, like where to put your cards, for example. I'd have CARDS spelled out. Now, the other thing that I wanted to look at were my photos themselves, and I'm pretty happy with my photos. I don't think I need really any updating to those. Nothing catastrophic that stands out at me. I have a picture that shows size, and I also include, kind of a glimpse of what my gift wrapping looks like, and also a photo that shows how they can sign up for my email list. So I'm good to go as far as my photos here. I feel good about that. I don't think that's 40s. I'm just going to update this to 70s. Okay. And then I'll just go through and see if I need to change. I think home decor still works. Black and white still works. Although my primary color, I'm going to go ahead and put white because I have some others that are black on white, or white on black, We'll just change that around. Okay. We've already got my 5 rooms selected. There's no occasion or holiday that this goes to, so I'm good here. I do want to update my description because my description formats have changed. I want to keep them as uniform as possible. So I'm going to go grab that and do that really quickly. So you can see that I before was including, different sections in my description, but I made the format so it's a little bit more obvious what the sections are and that it's more pleasing for the eye and easier for a customer to find what they're looking for. So I'll show you what that looks like in the new format in just a moment. The other thing is here at the top, I used to just include a little blurb about what the item was, and now I try and make that a little bit more emotion sparking. So instead of just saying small vintage metal sign letters, black on white, I'm going to switch that up a little bit. So I'll show you what that looks like too. Okay, so Snap, I've changed everything to my new format in my description. You can see at the very top, it now says these vintage small, okay, I repeated that. These vintage small metal unitype sign letters are so fun for making customized mini signs in your farmhouse decor. Now notice I'm using a lot of my keywords still at the very beginning of this description. That's important as well. Available by the letter or number so that you can grab exactly how many you need. And then I put a section to order so that somebody, okay, this is for another listing, so I didn't update this. Please pick the letters and sizes. I'm just going to say the letters and or numbers you would like from the drop-down menu. They're available per letter so that you may order as many or few as you would like. Reach out to me if you need any help or if you're looking for, or I'm just going to say, or if you have any questions. Okay. And then why you'll love them. You want to here include things that you know that your customers will love about them. And then you want to make sure you call out any conditions and details. And then I include approximate measurements, availability, and I also provide some information. This is older information that I need to update as well. I'm going to do that right now. There we go. And our description is updated. Now I do have a template available that shows you exactly what to include here that I provide as a swipe copy, which means that you can use it, change it, and edit it to make it yours, but you don't have to guess what information to include. You can just use the template that I provide. That's in my free training, and I'll link to the where you can go to get that in the notes of this video below. But let's see if there's anything else that we need to update here. I already updated this section, and again, I know that I'm already getting sales from this listing, so I don't want to make huge changes to my my tags and my titles. I kept the same keywords pretty much. I just reorganized them. And note that if somebody is searching for vintage unitype, even though I don't have vintage unitype listed here, Etsy is still going to find it because it's within my title and it's also in my tags. So the only thing with my tags that I might update is I have vintage repeated a lot of times. That's not necessary. Now it doesn't hurt anything necessarily, but if there are other keywords that you could include instead of just taking up space by putting vintage several times like I did in this listing, then you want to do that. So for example, I want to put farmhouse decor in here. So let's go ahead and get rid of vintage signs and vintage numbers. I have sign right here, vintage sign basically. And instead I'll just put, and I also have metal sign letters. I do need numbers, so I'm going to include that still. And we'll just say numbers for customizing. Does that fit? No. We'll just say numbers for decor, just for keeping it simple for right now. And then I want to put farmhouse decor. Yes, I'm repeating decor. Again, I don't have to do that. So if there's another keyword that I wanted to include, I can, smush these together. Probably industrial, farmhouse can go in one keyword. And In fact, let's just go ahead and do that because I already have decor here under wedding. So I'm just going to say industrial farmhouse. And now I have one more keyword space. Why not just put card sign label? So basically I'm talking about the, when somebody uses letters like these for their card sign for their wedding. Just in case somebody searches for it like that. These are just kind of extras. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along. So I haven't done any additional keyword research here, which I can definitely do and probably come up with some better keywords too. Materials, I didn't have anything there, so I'm just going to put metal because they are metal. And that's pretty much the only thing that I'm going to change. I sometimes allow restock requests, like if I know it's something that I have more of coming in or I know I can get more of. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and allow it because that is something that I could possibly restock. And other than that, I think I'm good to go. The thing that I wanted to update most in this section is really the title and also the description. So I'm going to go ahead and publish this and call it a day. Okay, so that was a quick update to one of my existing listings, just kind of a critique of things that I could do better. I could probably go through it again and update a few more things, but I'm just going to keep it simple for right now. And again, I will link that free training to you if you're interested in how you can get that free template or swipe copy for a listing description that you can use for your own vintage shop. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell as well so that you don't miss any new videos. Thank you so much for joining me today and have a great rest of your day. Bye.